This is Briana Wickham and Daniela Ramirez, and we are currently standing in front of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. This monumental architecture is recognized as one of the largest museums in America and is an iconic landmark for the city of brotherly love.
This colossal building was designed in the Greek Revival style. It effectively represents important Greek characteristics such as the glazed tiles, embellished with finials and pediments, also Greek mythological gods representing the concept of sacred love, and creatures such as the griffin, which serves not only as the symbol of the museum but also as the protector and guardian of all of its treasures.
Many works of Kandinsky epitomize abstract representational art and follow the ideas of artists such as Malevich and Krauss.
I think that his works definitely entice the viewer, don't you think, Brianna? Especially with all of the descriptive colors, the shapes, the forms, and his use of the structure representing ideas, sounds, and objects of everyday life.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Kandinsky finds colorful expression in the painting, and it's the blue, the red, and green lines intersecting with the large areas of yellow, purples, and pinks. I think it's interesting that Kandinsky is inspired by the relationship between music and painting. His values of shapes, lines, and colors are carriers of spontaneous emotion and spiritual expression really interest me.
One of the most interesting artworks in Kandinsky's collection, in my opinion, was Little Painting with Yellow. This piece was created in Munich just before the outbreak of World War I, which forced him to return to Russia.
And there's no doubt that he was affected by the increasingly unstable political environment and then his belief in the imminence of the apocalypse. He's painting in this whirlwind, explosive lines and colors, which is both kind of terrifying, catastrophic, and both elation and the rebirth.
Little Painting with Yellow is a moving combination of the repeating rhythmic forms, colorful harmonies, and jarring dissonances. Little Painting with Yellow, although perhaps virgin and complete abstraction, is often considered one of Kandinsky's later improvisations.
As a viewer, it's interesting to me to see how Kandinsky's works can be interpreted differently through the eyes and minds of each individual viewer, because they're anything but limiting.
Well, did you know that Kandinsky suffered from a condition known as synesthesia? This condition allowed him to both see sound and hear color, because synesthesia evokes an additional sense when another sense is being used, resulting in two or more senses being used simultaneously. As an artist, I personally think that this gave him an edge to create work that was unique and that set him apart from other artists.
Oh, I'll definitely agree that it's unique.
So, in your opinion, why do you think this is one of his most important works in this collection?
Well, I think the fact that Kandinsky's work as a whole can transcend all these different movements. I mean, we see in Gualdoni that he runs into abstract, expressionism, and then post-expressionism. You kind of have this really wide range.
As we all know, Pablo Picasso is probably one of the greatest and most influential artists of the 20th century. He is widely known for co-founding the Cubist movement with George Braque.
This painting, Men with a Violin, can be interpreted as a potent illustration of a painting that radiates in time rather than a picture that is part of a dead portion of space. Unlike the conventional approaches of other artists that would create likenesses of the figure through the use of linear perspective and three-dimensional modeling, Picasso depicted this gentleman not as he would be seen at a given moment, but as he would appear from various sides and positions in space, as behind, in front, and to the side.
For this reason, Men with a Violin cannot then be compared to the outward appearance of anything already known or seen.
So that being said, why do you think that this work was one of the most important in the museum?
Well, I think that Picasso's Cubist influence continued to develop throughout the years, and he proved that his work could still have some representational cues without making his work so little. His effective use of color and the placement of the shapes, as well as the cascading effect that he created with all of his artworks, were mysterious and could be very intriguing to the viewers. This way, the viewers have the opportunity to analyze and make connections between the artwork itself and its title. In addition, I think that Picasso's concept and representation of music is by far definitely interesting and different from Kandinsky's, idea and representation of music. So we still have sort of the same concept, but with a different sort of intake for it.
And it's interesting that both Kandinsky and Picasso have these kind of flowing movement around this idea of what is a movement in 20th century art. We both see them jumping from abstraction to this more expressionist point of view.
So this is very interesting collection, and both of them, without even being intentional, kind of have similar characteristics and similar ideas when it comes to their art and their concept of music.